Hey Taurus, welcome to my channel. This is going to be your check-in for 2026 to see what energies are coming towards you, what you can expect. It is also currently supermoon time, full moon in Gemini, and a supermoon, which is also in the constellation of Taurus. So Taurus, you might have felt this moon quite potently. I'm in South Africa, so when it peaked was at 11:15 p.m. last night, and I was exhausted. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock, and then I could not fall asleep. I had insomnia until like 1 in the morning. What I was picking up in your meditation, Taurus, before I do the signs, I kind of check in with your energy collectively and see what's going on. And the message I got for Taurus was embodied abundance for 2026. Embodied abundance. And this is about energetically aligning with your relationship to abundance and your sense of deserving of abundance. And this doesn't have to be financial. In fact, I was also getting a strong sense of the physical body for Taurus. You know, being one of two beasts in the zodiac along with Sagittarius. The physical body is actually an important aspect of the Taurian energy. They usually say that Taurians can carry quite a heavy, sturdy, stoic gait, broad in the shoulders, broad in the hips, strong legs as well. Those are generally the physical features of Taurus. Doesn't have to be. But I was sensing that for 2026, abundance and connecting with abundance in the form of wealth, and that's emotional wealth, physical wealth, material wealth, however you define wealth to be something that brings joy and peace into your life. But physical health was coming up for me quite strongly. And I was sensing that this may have been a year, 2025, where you were challenged a little bit with your physical health, Taurus. And this may not be for every Taurian out there. Again, when I do channel and connect, sometimes very specific messages come through for one person or two people, depending on what my guides and source wants to bring through in the reading. But I was getting, lower back, skeletal as well, because skeletal is our grounding, our framework. And Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is very much about stability and framework, and the skeletal system is about stability. So I was getting skeletal. And that could be, joint pain, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. I was also getting lower back pain, and that is feeling like you are carrying the burden of the world on your shoulders in a metaphorical sense, in an energetic sense, which then impacts your root chakra, your coccyx area, and can create lower back pain. Menstrual cycle for women, and throat sinus for Taurus is quite prominent. Sorry if I'm drifting off. I am deciphering messages, but I'm seeing the sinus area, I'm seeing the sinus cavities, I'm seeing the ear canal, the vestibular system. I'm seeing the throat. And it's interesting, I'm saying that now. Throat is generally the area of Taurus. It is, the vocal cords. Taurus rules over the vocal cords and the neck. Bulls having such a strong neck. And that connects to our sinuses. So if you've had throat issues in 2025, maybe just, disappearing of the voice or soreness of throat, sinus issues as well, and any issues of the inner ear, which I've been having for the last week. It's so interesting. I've had vertigo for a week now, which is why the readings are a little bit delayed, but actually they're not delayed. It's divine timing. They were meant to come out during the super moon, I think. But I've had issues with vertigo as an example, which is an inner ear, where I could not even tilt my head to the right for this week. The whole room would start spinning. And I feel that, Taurus, what you are learning or what's coming towards you in 2026 is the ability to ground yourself and create stability in your own body. And that is why I received the phrase embodied abundance for you, Taurus. It's about embodying the energy of abundance, embodying the energy of wealth, so that you can receive that, or you are able to receive that. And if you think of abundance, there is no better depiction or archetype for abundance than the Empress energy, which is the card of Taurus. It's the major arcana of Taurus. She represents abundance, she represents fertility. But what's interesting is when we think of abundance, we usually think or associate it with the masculine energy. It's a patriarchal template where we think that money is a masculine energy, that wealth is a masculine energy, just because of how, it has gone down in history. But money is actually very much a feminine energy. It needs to flow. Money is an energy, and energy needs to flow so that it doesn't get stuck or stagnant. As with everything, it is both masculine and feminine, so you need both aspects of it. But I think, Taurus, for you, and why the Empress card is so interesting, is that it's depicted as a feminine energy, the divine feminine energy, but it represents abundance in the material world, the harvest, fertility, bringing forth ideas, planting seeds that land on fertile ground. But divine feminine energy is an energy that is able to receive. And I think, Taurus, what I was picking up as well for a lot of you is the inability to receive, actually. And if you think about it, when I ask clients this question sometimes, if I do sense it in them, the first answer is usually no. I'm perfectly happy to receive. But if you think about, if people are offering you a free meal, or if people want to do something for you, and if you are used to being in masculine energy, that can be a very uncomfortable feeling. And I speak from personal experience that I've only just realized, well, not just, but in the last year realized that receiving is something I need to work on. Being able to receive with grace, and just take it on, whether it's a compliment, whether it is, something free that someone is offering me, and not feeling guilty about that, and not feeling undeserving of that, because that is where it comes from. So a lot of us Taurians being in our masculine energy, and that also creates instability because it is imbalanced with the feminine. So if you are in action mode all of the time, or in hustle mode, and you are not taking time out to receive or relax, which is also a form of receiving, it's giving back to self, receiving of self, then there will be an imbalance. And this is where I find that your physical imbalances have come from, is the ability to integrate both masculine and feminine, the ability to take rest and to listen to your body. I think also for Taurus in 2026 is, I feel like your energy is going to help to manifest a lot of the ideas that are in the ether, in the cosmos. You know, the concept of an idea also carries an energy, and it waits to land. It waits to land for the right time and also for the right vessel. And this, I believe, and my grandfather always used to say that this is how, you know, the greats, the philosophers, the greats like Einstein, because of their dedication and because of their work and the effort that they put into their mastery, would then receive downloads from the ether. Sudden light bulb moments or epiphanies are when ether is landing. And it's very similar to how I channel. It is a different energy, it's a different sense that comes through. And I feel as though Taurian energy is going to be the vessel, the container for a lot of those ideas to flow for the rest of the zodiac. So what you might find is that you partner with fire signs. I'm picking up specifically fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. More so Aries. I was picking up a lot of idea generation from Aries, and that could also be you as well, Taurus. You could have strong Aries placements like I do. I'm an Aries rising. But partnering with that Aries energy to bring forth new ideas into the world and land them on fertile ground for abundance. Your relationship with money is also shifting, Taurus. The ability to allow money to flow. You know, Taurians, we like to have stability. I think it's one of our characteristic descriptions is stability, homely, nice home, nice material possessions. We love luxury, is what's often said about Taurus, and ruled by Venus. So everything sensual, good perfume, luxurious cars, good food, beautiful homes, beautiful spaces. That's something that we feel comfortable in. And what has been challenged in 2025, and many of you might have been experiencing cash flow constraints or financial challenges. And that has come in to teach us about the energy of money and how letting go is just as important as saving is, in order to create flow, the flow of energy, for that abundance to come back to you. So it's the relationship with money and with anything. The tighter you hold on to it, the further it is from your grasp. And the more constricted your space becomes for allowing anything else new to flow in, new opportunity, new cash flow. I realized the other day, cash flow, it's not a coincidence that that's what it's called. It is very much about flow. And when you are constricting energy, you are constricting the flow of it. So you will find that you will become more comfortable with enjoying your wealth and not being too concerned with the false sense of security, actually, that a huge savings account might have. And look, there are various contexts, so please take this, as it resonates and for your context. Savings, I'm not saying that savings are not important, but as an example, I've been saving since my early 20s. And 24 years later, when I decided to leave corporate, it was when I realized that what was I saving for? What was I actually building up this nest for? If I wasn't using the money to explore my gifts, to explore my desires, my dreams, and to live my life. And that was my biggest challenge, is watching, and it still is my biggest challenge, is watching my savings slowly, reduce and going into panic mode, and then having to remind myself, this is what you've decided, this is, in alignment with what you want to do. You have to allow this flow, to allow abundance to come in back to you. And I feel like a lot of Taurians have been experiencing some form of this test of relationship with money. Okay, Taurus. I am going to read your tarot now. That was a very long intro. I think also, Taurus, you are very giving in nature. And what you have also learned in 2025 is when to give, and also noticing patterns of why you give. And the reasons for why you give, whether consciously or unconsciously, is there an expectation? And is it unconditional giving? And also realizing that energy has to be exchanged. It is an infinity sign. It's not just a direct shot from you to them. There has to be an exchange of energy for there to be balance. Okay, Taurus, let's see. Spirit, please and thank you for the sign of Taurus for my bull gang. What is going on? Or what messages can you bring in for them for 2026? What messages of guidance? Only messages of love and guidance. Negative energy, please leave the space now. Messages for Taurus, messages for the bull gang. I also get a very strong connection to Sagittarian energy. Being the other beast in the zodiac. The Taurus Sagittarius you'll often see on tabloid astrology or, high-level astrology. They will say that Taurus and Sagittarius are probably the worst match ever, because Taurus, appreciates commitment and loyalty and stability and security, and Sagittarius is almost the other extreme of that, afraid of commitment, non-committal, not wanting to be tied down, wanting to explore, you're not so much concerned about nesting or the home, but more about, going out there. But it really depends on a lot of factors. That's just the crux of Taurus and Sagittarius at the bare minimum. But I think we can teach each other a lot. And why I'm saying Sag and Taurus is even our constellations are close together. And there's a lot to be learned from each other to balance out the energy of freedom versus grounding. Because freedom without grounding is also chaotic. So I do see a lot of partnership with Taurus and Sagittarius in 2026. And it feels like knowledge acquisition. It feels like learning something together, or developing course material together, or exploring new topics together. Okay. For Taurus, please and thank you. Only jumpers. Wow. Justice. Heartbreak. Okay. So, Justice, card of Libra. Also ruled by Venus. That is about fairness. And it's what I was talking about, Taurus, in terms of reciprocity as well. It's about balance and fairness and reciprocity in relationship. And recognizing how much you might have been overgiving to a situation, or even the other way around, where you were taking more than you were giving. And this imbalance in relationship, especially, close relationship, can sometimes cause heartache. So it was revisiting that in 2025, Taurus. I think a lot of that emotional auditing was done on, where relationships have maybe gone awry and what the reasons were for that, and bringing balance into your own energy, into your own emotional state and mental state over that, and not self-flagellating any longer, or allowing that to take you into a spiral of dismal feeling, but reconnecting those chords and taking the lessons from them and looking at yourself in a different way, again, in a non-self-flagellating way, but with more grace and compassion. You can see she's looking at her reflection, and she almost sees a different reflection there when the scales are balanced. Forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of others. We all have our shadows, and we all do better when we know better. And that's something you are also processing. Working on your inner joy, Taurus, and also connecting that to non-attachment. Because as Taurians, we can be sentimental and we can be attached to material things, but recognizing the impermanence of those things and allowing yourself to be in a space of joy from within, but finding that joy from within, and that comes from self-worth and self-confidence. So a lot of work will be culminating now as you move into 2026. You will find that you will be able to be present more in the moment, to be more joyful in the moment and less anxious about the future and what's coming forward, because there's a sense of self-confidence, of self-worth in your knowledge, in your decision making. There's a sense of stability in your decision making. It's coming from an emotionally centered place. It's coming from a balanced place, and that brings in your security, that wealth of emotional maturity, the wealth of knowledge and integration that you've done in 2025 brings in the sense of security that you need, which is then becomes the masculine container to hold the freedom that, for you to explore, for you to flow, for you to enjoy without fear and without shame and guilt as well. Card of Leo, major arcana, and considered to be the happiest card in the tarot deck. But it's a state of complete inner bliss and joy, and it's not dependent on anything outside of you, Taurus. It's not dependent on anyone else's opinion, on anyone else's validation. It's not dependent on your material possessions either. But it's an inner state of bliss and accomplishment and abundance. King of Swords energy, and that's the wisdom I was feeling for you, Taurus, integrating this wisdom and being able to communicate that in an emotionally mature way. King of Swords is the card of Aquarius. It is a fixed energy, but he is a very wise king, very articulate in communication with swords energy, air energy, and is able to contain his emotions or balance his emotions. And this is the feeling I was getting when I was channeling the Sun card, is grounding your freedom in logical, clear, emotionally balanced decision making and partnership. I just heard partnership. So even who you are choosing to connect with, who you are choosing to share your energy, your words, and your space with, Taurus, is going to bring in a sense of security and stability into your world. that is going to allow the freedom for you to create and flow. It's a very strong sense of stability that I'm getting here. You could also be partnering with wise counsel, could be an Aquarius, could also be a Libra, since we have major arcana Libra here. And for some reason I'm getting also the Taurus Libra connection is going to be important in this coming year for you. But there's a lot of inner wisdom that you are now channeling, Taurus, and we can only channel that energy when we are grounded. And that is why in the beginning, what they were saying about the masculine and feminine energy, balancing that out, knowing when to rest and not feeling guilty about that rest is important for your 2026 Taurus. One more card. Tower. So again, this is not a test, but it is, I feel like, and this is what I was talking about, the relationship with your stability, the relationship with money. It's when the universe comes in, when source comes in to test our belief. Like if I say, I am not attached to money, or money doesn't drive my thinking, or I'm not greedy, there will be something that will come in to test that alignment, to test what it is that I'm saying. Is that true or not? And it's just to reflect back to us, are we really who we say we are? Are we really standing in the energy that we profess to say we are standing in? And these are the Tao moments that come in, and it really is about our growth. And these will continue to come in 2026, but with the added grounding and wisdom you have accumulated over 2025 Taurus, the shedding that you've done, you will be able to navigate these moments with a lot less anxiety and with a lot more steadfastness and calm and grace. Card of Scorpio, which is the opposite end to our sign in the zodiac. But you've done the emotional work, Taurus. You've done the emotional work to bring about balance, to be able to navigate sudden, unexpected events, is what I'm feeling. And with Uranus energy, and Taurus and Uranus have been having quite a relationship of late, well, at least in my birth chart. Uranus is the energy of lightning. It's very erratic. It's unexpected energy. It's sudden movement, sudden flashes of insight. It's learning how to work with that energy, Taurus. And that can be very uncomfortable for us because again, the security, the stability, knowing the certainty of what's going to happen. But the more we evolve on this planet, the more uncertain things become. Things are changing every single second. And it's being able to sit in that and hold steady and hold your ground. That's the energy that is coming through for you. Again, look at that. Queen of Swords energy. So we have a couple here. So definitely a partnership with an air sign could be coming in for you, Taurus. But Queen of Swords is also about clear boundaries and emotionally mature communication, respect, boundaries, balance, and decisions. So the advice for you, Taurus, in 2026 is to look after your physical health by making sure that you are not in overaction, balancing masculine and feminine, working on your ability to receive, which is a feminine energy, looking into that, looking into what prevents you from receiving, your true relationship. When I say true, it's your true belief about abundance. and whether you are deserving of that abundance coming in 2026 for you, Taurus, because the universe matches our energy. So if we believe that we are undeserving, we are going to receive situations that reflect that back to us and ask, of us, is this really true? And being mindful, I think, Taurus, more of a clear mental state is needed. So whatever you need to do to maintain a clear state of mind, if that means cutting out energies that distract or cutting out energies that cause instability, uncertainty, anxiety, you are going to need a clear state of mind to draw up plans and to be able to land ideas and work with fire energy, work with Aries, work with Sagittarius to grow ideas and plant new seeds of abundance into your existence. But I do see this embodied abundance coming in tenfold for you, Taurus. And I can almost feel the evolution to the Minotaur. The Minotaur is the ultimate evolution of Taurus. This powerful beast that is able to tame its energy, but also has the power to ground the entire cosmos, to hold space for any chaos and any, crazy energy and ideas that are coming forth. Taurus, that is what I see coming through for you in 2026. And it is the year of the horse as well, which is Sagittarian energy. And it's also, the animal energy, which is our energy as Taurus, as Taurians. Taurus, sending you so much love. If this resonated, please drop me a like, comment. If you'd like a personal reading, my details are below as well. Sending you so much love, and if I don't see you before the festive, stay safe, stay blessed, and enjoy the time with your loved ones. Cheers, Taurus. Thank you.